friends, Gary here in Gary's Garage. I'm going to get ready to work on the Buick Riviera, and before we could do so we realized that one of the tires has got a leak in it. It was going soft on us. So we took the tire off and we discovered that there was a nail in the tire, and we've since removed the nail, but we did mark it because what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to a friend of mine's house. He has a tire changer, and we're going to have him patch the tire for us. So once we get the tire fixed, then we're going to put the car on these dollies. That way, as we're working on it, we can move it around as we need to. But again, before we get it on the dollies, we need to take care, make sure this tire holds air. So come on with us, we're going to go get this tire patched. Okay friends, we're here at Randy's at an undisclosed location, but having a guy that does tires and knows tires, I mean, it's just invaluable, right? So Randy for me is that guy. What we're going to do, he's going to help me out and patch up this Buick tire.
Yeah, this tire looks like it had a screw go in and out of it. Tires you can patch anywhere from about here to here. If it gets too close to the edge, you cannot patch it. The patch will roll off. There's too much flex and roll on the side of a tire when it's going down the road. The best way to do this is we're going to take this tire off of the rim, and then we're going to clean the tire on the inside wall a little bit, and then we're going to glue the tire, and when the glue dries we're going to roll a patch on it and remount and inflate the tire, and then we will check it with some water and make sure that it's not bubbling in that area. The repair will be complete. Should never shove a plug into a tire. These are steel belted radials, and when you shove a plug in here, you're severing all the steel belts in this tire, and might not ever have a problem, or 10 miles down the road the belts, the steel belting in this tire might start to shift and the tire could explode at a highway speed or even in town. So here we never plug a tire. It's either patchable or the tire needs to be replaced. This rim is pretty rusty here and here. I'll have to clean this rim up. It's probably leaking in the bead area as well as where the screw went into the tire. Okay, there's our spot.
Tires still look okay though, Randy?
Yeah, the tire still looks okay. Right there's where it penetrated the inner wall of the tire. There's your hole. We're going to clean that spot up. Looks like somebody maybe put some Fix-A-Flat in there and tried to get by for a while. Gotta knock the finish off inside this tire a little bit so the patch will adhere to the rubber tire. Not taking a lot off of this. Just barely taking any rubber off the tire. You're not really harming the tire. And then we're going to clean the rim a little bit. get more than enough glue on there, you want to have a little bit bigger perimeter of glue than the actual size of the patch. There has to be glue under the entire patch. Then we're going to let that dry for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to roll the patch on.
So we got a few minutes, Randy, for that to dry. So here you can see in Randy's garage, I mean, this is a tire guy, right? If you don't have tires, you're not really a tire guy. You got a good tire guy. He'd have tires. And Randy's a tire guy, right? And tools. Look at the tools. He's got tools over here. He's got tools over here. He's got tools over there. No lack of tools, right?
Glue is dry. We're going to peel the protective coating off of the patch. And put that right over the center of the puncture. And we'll roll it on there. Get it to bond to the cement. To make sure that none of the edges on the patch are loose, like so. It looks good. We're ready to put some bead sealer on the rim. We're going to put a little sealer on the rim. For any imperfections that are in the rim.
So Randy, you said these big old steel Buick rims are pretty tough.
Yep. Very, very rigid. Modern day, most of your rims are getting lighter and lighter. They're trying to get fuel economy by lightening everything. Your rims and tires are rotational weight. The more rotational weight you have on a vehicle, the more horsepower it takes to operate the vehicle, because you have to keep that weight in motion, in a rotating motion. So the lighter you can make the rim and tire, the smaller the power plant can be under the hood.
That's why this Buick Riviera's got the big old torque monster motor.
That's right. Yeah, keep those wheels in motion. Then we're going to soap up the bead on the tire so it'll slide on with ease. We mark the tire, we want the mark to be back at the valve stem.
Just to make sure it stays balanced, right?
Yeah. And tires are marked when they're brand new. We got a bad valve stem, we're going to put in a new valve stem. We don't have a valve stem like that.
Is it a really old one?
Yeah, it's a big fat one. Usually the only ones that ever used those were Ford truck rims. Apparently the old Buicks had the big valve stem.
Oh wow, that is a big hole.
Yeah. See, that isn't going to fly. Yeah, it's going to fall right out. Yeah, we have to have a big valve stem.
Okay. All right. So here we are. We're still at Randy's garage.
Yeah.
We're still trying to get this tire repaired. And the problem we ran into is this valve stem being old. You know, maybe it's the original. Probably not, but maybe. But, you know, they get dried out, brittle. So it cracked off. And then, of course, this being a 50-some-year-old style rim, the common valve stems don't fit it anymore. So what we had to do was run all the way back into town. We found one of two giant valve stems that will fit. Now, this isn't the ideal. Randy was telling me that, you know, probably factory came with a little bit shorter one, being the chrome rim. The longer one is more for the hubcap, but you know, it's going to work for us. It's going to get air in the tire. It's going to be able to hold, and so we're going to go with that.
It's just a little more susceptible to getting hung up on something and possibly getting ripped out of the rim, but it's what we have for tonight, and sometimes parts are hard to come by.
But this will get us air in the tire that'll hold, that we can get it on the dollies like we want to and be able to move it around and work on it. And ultimately, we're not sure what style we're going to go with for tire and rim. So this is okay. It's going to serve our purpose. But, you know, key lesson, things don't always go as you plan. So you just got to, you know, deal the hands you're dealt with. Just be persistent. Keep moving forward, right? So
Yeah. You have to get past that hurdle. It's the only way you're going to get to the other side and get 4 tires back on the car that are going to let the car go down the road. So it doesn't look too bad on there. We're going to get a little bit of air pressure and we're going to inflate this.
and then we'll be able to just check it for leaks and we should be good to go.
We're going to bring this up to 35 psi. Take our valve stem out so we can force a lot more air in the tire faster. It's a little bit easier to get the tire to seal up on the rim. And then we've now got the core in it. We're going to finalize it at 35. The first thing we'll do, being we had the Schrader valve out, is we'll check and make sure our Schrader's not leaking. We don't have any bubbles there. And then we're going to check our rim. Make sure we don't have any bubbles. And we also want to check our valve stem at the rim. Make sure there's not an excessive amount of corrosion there causing the new valve stem to leak, because the tire will be flat by morning if it is.
And that thing would be really bubbling if there was a leak,
Yeah,
right, Randy?
this is
see
nice
it pretty evidently.
dish soap water here, so yeah, you would really start to foam up in any area where you had a leak. And we're going to release it from the machine, and that's all good. Any of those areas, if you had any weakness in that side wall, you would start to foam with this warm soapy water. You know, up in here, it's actually the weakest part of your tire right there. You can slice that right open with a knife. And your tires, when they start to weather check there, that's when your tire becomes very unsafe. You can't necessarily see the weather checking here tonight, but there could be some weather checking, but there's no obvious visual weather checking at this time.
And that's what'll cause a blowout, right, Randy?
Yeah.
It'll just blow right out.
The other reason people have blowouts is their tire goes low and they're traveling 50, 60 miles an hour and the tire's getting hot. And that inner liner that had that dull finish to it starts to shred into like just a black shredded like cheese. And once enough of that inner liner heats up and shreds, the tire will just explode going down the road and ruin a quarter panel, ruin a front fender, basically possibly ruin the whole side of a car.
Put you in the wall like NASCAR.
That's right. That's right. So it's very important to keep proper inflation and keep the proper tires on the proper vehicle.
Absolutely. So it's the next day in our tire repair adventure. I think as we tried to maybe show you last night, but it was dark. This valve stem broke off as he was putting the tire on the rim. They get old, they get brittle, it's rubber, and this thing could be 25 or 50 years old, who knows, right? But we got a new valve stem on there, and the tire held air overnight, so, you know, as Randy, the tire guy, told us, it's fixed, and so we can put it back on the car and now not worry about it going flat every day, and we can move the car around as we need to. So, more to come. So So now that we've got the car cleaned out, what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of an initial mechanical assessment. We're going to lift the car up. We've backed it out of the garage, and we're going to look for any leaks. Make sure there aren't any leaks anywhere. If they are, we're